Imagine an investing app that offers you commission-free trades, free stocks when you sign up, and it grows with you as you learn how to invest. Yes, today we're talking about Moomoo for beginners. This video is specific for beginners that just want to get started, because I don't know about you, but when I first got started with investing apps, I would look at this, I'd go through Moomoo, I'd look through all the charts, I'd look through all the data, and I would be like, whoa, this is a lot. What does it all mean? And how do I even get started? That's the point of today's video. And what I have for you is down below. There's chapters in this video, because depending on where you're at your sign up and beginner journey of Moomoo, you may have to jump around, and that's perfectly fine. So if you appreciate that I'm saving you some time, all I ask, drop a like on the video. Let's get started right away. In today's video, we're gonna look at my actual account. I'm gonna show you live how it works. It's not a stock video. We're going to actually go through this together. But the first thing we need to do actually is download the app if you haven't already. So that's step number one. Let's download the app. Let's get it all set up. And there's some very tricky things when you get started with Moomoo Investing App that you might be a little bit like, why is this doing this? Well, and I want to explain that to you as we go through. So whether you have iPhone, whether you have like Google phone or whatever, just go to your app store, search up Moomoo and download it. But I have a special offer for you. You can get yourself set up with some free stocks when you put your account minimum deposit in. Check out all the cool details using the link in the description below. That's the best way to get started. That way you can download the app right away and get right to it. Now, in order to open an account, once you have the app downloaded, the most important thing to get started is click on the trade button and then click on get started. Now, first thing it's going to ask you is where your country is located. And they do have more than just one country. They service more than just United States. Here's a list of all the countries as of the recording of this video that you can get Moomoo in, and they are always expanding. So just because it's not listed here today, check the comment down below. In the comments, I will update as Moomoo expands to other countries over the many years ahead. Then you're gonna fill out your personal data, your name, your date of birth, country of residence, all that good stuff. Next thing you're gonna ask is your tax information. And if you're in the United States, for example, that's your social security number. And you might immediately be like, oh, wait a minute, that's a little bit sketchy, a little bit weird. Why do you need my social security number? And it's actually a governmental law. They have to ask for that because as you trade in the Moomoo app, as you get dividends, as you get capital gains from your investments growing over time, you have to report that on your tax returns. So in order to do that, they have to have your social security number to appropriately give you the tax information at year end. That's really the reason why they're asking for it as you sign up for the app. After that, fill out your home address, click on next, and then you're going to answer a series of questions. Now, these questions are just kind of get you familiar, and especially if you're a beginner, I don't expect you to have like really advanced answers to these questions. But for example, how do you make income? What is your annual income? How much investment experience do you have? And all of that, just so they can tailor the app experience to you, so that way you can be set up for success. And then, of course, the risk disclosure, you can read through that in your spare time if you wish to do so. Otherwise, acknowledge it. Go ahead, hit submit, and then what you want to do is link your bank account. Now, I've already linked my checking account to Moomoo, and the reason I do that is because from time to time I transfer money into the app. And that's where we're going to get started with my live app and walk you through step by step how to do all of these different things. Now, before we get into transferring, let's take a look at the home screen. This is what typically pops up for me. You can see my account right now is only at $1,340. I plan on scaling that up with my NVIDIA versus AMD challenge. You can learn about that more in some of the videos that I've been doing here on the channel. I'll link them in the description if you're interested in looking at that. But in any case, this is where we stand today. You can see some of these right here down below. You have AVGO, AMD, Tesla, NVIDIA, etc. This really is all about your watch list. This is what you identify as some stocks or ETFs that you want to take a look at. So you can adjust this as much as you'd like. And how you do that is you go up there to the magnifying glass. You see that up there? Tap on that. And let's say, for example, we're interested in VOO, that's the S&P 500. All you have to do is, as it loads in right there, you see it says VOO, tap the heart on the right-hand side, and then I'm going to hit done. I'm just going to add that to all symbols. I'm not going to create a new watch list for this particular example. I'm going to hit done. And then if we go back, Right there it is at the top. See, VOO. Now it's on my watch list. I can keep an eye on it as time goes on. This is also very helpful if you just want to make a quick trade. If I want to hit VOO, take a look at how it's doing, get some data, get some information. Don't be stressed down about all these numbers. I'll explain them in a minute. All you have to do is hit trade here at the bottom, and then it'll take you over to the trade screen. But before we jump ahead to that, let's talk about transferring money into the app in the first place. How do we even get started? We got to get money in before we can trade, right? Here's how you do it step by step. First thing you're going to want to do at the very bottom is you'll see it says accounts. Right there, it's the third icon in. Tap on that, and that'll take you over here. Now you're going to see whatever accounts you have open. Right now I have my main account. I have a crypto account, which I'm not really using right now, as well as a closed margin account. So those are my three accounts, but I'm going to deposit money in. So right at the top, right to the left, you'll see it says deposit. Tap on that. Now at this point, if you have not yet linked your bank account, please make sure you do that. Otherwise, it's going to ask you to link your bank account before you can do anything of what you see here on the screen right now. Now, what I typically do, just to make my life easy, is I choose ACH transfer. You can do instant transfer if you have Bank of America, or I think the other one, let's take a look here. I think the other one is US Bank. So those are the two that if you want to just instantly deposit, you can do that. If you have something outside of those banks, that's perfectly fine. You can do ACH, or if you really want to, a wire transfer. One warning about a wire transfer. Even though Moomoo will not charge you, your bank might. So just be careful about that. Take a look at that. Wire is fast. You can see it says usually 1 to 2 business days versus ACH could be anywhere from 2 to 5 business days to transfer in. But just be aware of that. You don't want to get charged extra just for transferring money in. At least that's not what I like doing. So let's go on with ACH transfer. I'm going to click on that. And today I'm going to be transferring $100 in from my bank account. So you can see transfer from my bank into my account here on Moomoo. I'm going to select $100. All I have to do is hit submit. It's going to ask me for my password. You're going to set this up when you start your account. And that just ensures that your kids aren't using this by mistake and transferring money in before you know it. You then have a quick authorization that you need to acknowledge. I'll hit authorize. And there we go. You can see it's going through the process right now and initiating the transfer of $100 into my account. It's really that easy. Now, as it said, anywhere from 2 to 5 days until it transfers in. So one thing that we need to keep in mind is the fact that right now it's processing. But here's what's cool about Moomoo. Moomoo is going to give you instant buying power, which means that you don't have to wait for your $100 or whatever you decide to transfer in. You don't have to wait for that process. You don't have to be like, oh my gosh, I got to wait 5 days before I can do any investment trades. Nah, right here, look at that. It just alerted me. You have initiated a deposit of $100. You will have access to $100 instant buying power before deposit arrives in your account. So that's stock trading. That's basically the stock market. That's what we're going to be playing around with today in this example. So now that we transferred money in, the next steps we need to do is let's go ahead and buy a stock, and then we're going to sell a stock as well, just to see how it all works. So I'm going to go to my account, and let's take a look at my portfolio. Now, because I have some money in there, there's going to be some things to look at. First of all, at the very top of my account, you're going to see it says securities assets. That's my total amount that I have right now, $1,339.28. So that's comprised of total cash, which right now is only $9.17, and everything I have invested, which is these three below right here. So these three below plus the currency cash equals $1,339. Now, that $100 that we transferred in, you'll see that pop up in just a moment when we decide to do our first trade. Now, I do want to point out something very cool that Moomoo does that other apps don't do unless you have to pay money for a subscription service or go through a lot of hoops in order to do it. They just give it to you. Look at this. Deposit and get 3.85% yield on the cash that's sitting in your account. Now, remember, the reason for investing in Moomoo and depositing money in Moomoo is to invest in the stock market. But there may be times that you want to just have cash sitting in your total cash. Maybe, for example, you want to wait on a buying opportunity, or it's the weekend, or you're waiting a couple weeks. Whatever the reason may be, it doesn't matter. The point is they're going to give you interest on any cash that's sitting in the total cash area of your portfolio. So right now you can see I've earned a total of $2.43 and a pending interest of 2 cents. You know what? It's not a lot of money, but it's nice to have some money working in the background just for cash that you're sitting on. That to me is pretty cool. But let's go ahead and use our instant buying power to buy a stock. Now, in order to do that, let's go back to where we were on the watch list. This is my favorite way to do it. Let's say, for example, we want to invest in VOO. We're going to do $100 into VOO just for the purpose of checking this out. I'm going to hit the trade button at the very bottom of this particular ticker symbol. And then what we want to do is we want to look at a couple things. Now, this is all based on what your preference is. This is not financial advice. You do what works best for you in the overall scheme of how your investment portfolio is going to be set up. But for example, I'm going to do regular trading hours. You can trade in the pre and post market, which actually extends your ability to trade. 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time up to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, whereas the regular trading hours are 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Luckily, as I'm recording this video, we are within the window of being able to go ahead and do regular trading hours. Now, the order type is limit. Limit means that you want to buy based on a price. So let's say right now you can see that VOO is going for right around $610 and maybe 80 cents or so. I can say, you know what? I don't want you to buy this unless it goes down to $609. If and only if it goes down to that or below that price, go ahead and buy at that point. That's the point of a limit price. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to select this and just say market. For beginners, we're just going to make it easy. Limit and market. Click on market, which means it's going to trade at whatever the price is when I hit buy. The next step is to look at the quantity. You can do a couple things here. You can buy it in quantity of stock, like for example, 1.52 shares of stock if you want to. But keep in mind the amount is $928. That's more than I have in my cash account. Because even with the instant buying power and that $9 I had in cash that we saw earlier, that's only $109 I have. I do not want to use margin, which means a loan from the brokerage, because that costs me interest. I don't want to get into that. That's advanced stuff. That's not beginner stuff, right? So you can do that by, let's say, maybe we'll do 0.02. There we go. That's $12.22. You could do that if you want. You could buy 0.2, and that would be, nope. You could do 0.08. There you go at $48. Whatever else you want to do, you can do that. Honestly, the easiest thing that I do is I click on that little button right next to quantity. And when I hit on that, it changes into the amount of money. To me, that's so much easier. So take a look at this. Look down below here. It says cash buying power, $108.17. So they're giving you some extra money to play with here. Some money to have that instant buying power before it officially transfers from the bank account. That's what I really like about this. For this example, I'm only going to do $50, but you can see $50 equates to 0.0818 is the estimate of how much VOO we're going to buy. So I'm going to hit on buy. It's going to ask for that trading password one more time. I'm going to type it in. And then you can see the lock comes off of the buy and sell. I'm going to hit on buy. It, just to be safe, pops up with an order detail. Are you sure you want to do this? $50. Here's what you're buying. Here's everything you need to know. Everything sounds great to me. If you don't like this annoying thing that pops up, you can click on the don't show this again. Otherwise, hit confirm and then order submitted. Then you'll get an almost immediate alert right there at the top. It popped up with the order status saying that it is now filled. So that means if we go back to the account, we officially, live here on video, just bought VOO. And sure enough, right down there it is at the bottom. Vanguard S&P 500, 0.0818 shares. So that's a fraction of a full share. That's okay because I only wanted to invest my $50. You will see down here at the top, take a look at this. It says total cash, negative $40.79. Don't let that stress you out because remember, we have instant buying power until that amount comes in from the checking account. Now, what about selling a share? Well, before I sell, I want to give a beginner's warning to you. Notice right up here at the top, it says day trading 333333. When you have less than $25,000 in your account, you cannot just buy and sell stocks every single day as much as you want. That's called day trading. For example, if I would just immediately turn around and sell VOO right now, that would be considered a day trade. I bought it and sold it within the same exact day. You're only allowed to do that, and if I actually click on this button right here, if you trade more than 3 day trades in the window that you see right up here, you're going to be marked as a pattern day trader, PDT, and you will not be allowed to initiate any new positions unless the equity of your account is above $25,000. Now, my account, for example, is only at $1,300. So if I turn around and I decide to totally blow this, I won't be able to buy new stocks until I find enough money to get my account up to $25,000. That's a lot of work. So just avoid that and be very careful about buying and selling in a singular day. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell a stock that I've held for more than 1 day, so we don't have to worry about that day trading thing that I just mentioned. Coming down below here, you can see I have GGB. Now, how I got a hold of this, and it's only worth $6.51, as you can see right here, is because I got it as a free stock when I signed up for Moomoo. But I don't want it. I want to sell it. What's nice about it, though, is I did make a little bit of profit. You can see it's up 6.37%, worth 39 cents. That's a lot of money. Not really. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about how to sell a stock on Moomoo. Easiest way that I do it is just tap on the stock within your positions. So if I tap on GGB, right there it is. And same thing we do when we buy, we're going to go down to the bottom and tap on trade. And now what we're going to do is we're going to sell it. I'm going to sell it regular trading hours at the market. And I'm going to say I want to sell the whole thing. So you can see the max quantity to sell is 2. It looks like I'm going to get $6.50 back. That all looks good. I'm going to hit sell. It's going to pop up with the order detail, hit confirm, and there we go. There's our order status. 2 were sold at $3.25 on October 15th at 12:59 Eastern Time. So now we go back to the account and let's see what we can see. First and foremost, you're going to see it's still sitting in there with 0 and 0. That means you don't own anything anymore, but it's going to sit in there for a day or two while it transitions out. There's something called T+2. And that's something very important to know. It's not just a Moomoo thing. This is an investing thing. When you decide to sell any shares of stock, it takes about 2 days plus the transaction date in order to absolutely fulfill. So let's say, for example, I want to sell AMD. Right now you can see my market quantity is at $765. Let's say I immediately need that $765. Well, I can't just immediately sell it today and transfer that money out today. It takes time. It has to go through the cycle before I can actually withdraw it from Moomoo. And I don't want to go into margin. I don't want to borrow from the brokerage. I don't want to do anything dumb like that. I just literally want to take this and wait until I can actually truly withdraw the funds in cash. So keep that in mind. Now, again, you shouldn't be investing unless you have some type of emergency fund to deal with cash, because the purpose of investing is to grow your money over a long period of time, so at some point you're financially free to do whatever you want. If we come down here to AMD and NVIDIA, for example, it tells us everything we need to know day in and day out. Let's start with AMD. So how it says MV and quantity, what that's standing for is market value and quantity of shares that you own of that particular stock or ETF. So AMD, the market value, which means how much money I have, is currently sitting at $761.37. That equals 3.2692 shares. Now you can see the money just jumped around, and that'll do that as the market's open. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, all is fine. That's natural, that's normal. The price and cost is also a very important thing. Right now, AMD, as of the recording of this video, is trading for $233.19. My average cost through all the times that I buy AMD is sitting at $168.20, which means that's a good thing when your average cost is below the going price, because that means you're in the profit. You're making money on your investment. And if I scroll over, you can see exactly what that means. Today, in fact, I'm going to scroll all the way over here. Today's P&L is $51.19. So just today, my investment rose by an additional $51. Total profit and loss is $214.29. That represents 38.97% return on my money, on my investment. That's really good. And for those of you who have been watching me on my NVIDIA and AMD journey, I was not expecting that at all. That is phenomenal. And that's, of course, just for a quick one, it's because AMD just announced some partnerships, which is increasing the value of that particular stock. That's why that's looking so good. But hey, I'll take it. $213? Yeah, hello. That's awesome. And now we have NVIDIA, and you can see NVIDIA is looking about the same. I have a market value of $553.15 or 3.08 shares. The price is right now going for $179. My average price is $178. So yes, I'm in profit, not as much as AMD, but it's not bad. And right now the total P&L today is down $2.11. Overall profit is sitting right around $3.24 or 0.59%. Not as good as AMD, but whatever. We're going to keep doing this for the long period of time for this particular example. Now, the stock, or I should say the ETF that we just bought, as we were going through this beginner's video, is down 0.24% or 12 cents. Now, keep in mind, especially if you're a beginner and you're starting to invest, they always say it's better to have time in the market than trying to time the market. And what they mean by that is when you invest, you're not looking to just quickly make a buck. You want it to grow over a period of time. Take a look, in fact, at VOO within Moomoo here. If I go back, and you can actually start using these charts to your advantage. Right now, here's the 1 year. Take a look at April. In April, the stock went down, the ETF went down. In fact, the entire market went down in April quite significantly. Look at that. Now, if you would have bought, let's say back here, you bought something in Moomoo back here and it was $553, give or take. It went all the way down to about $457 down here in April. Well, you would have been like, my gosh, I'm losing so much money. Well, you have the option to sell if you want to, but then you're selling at a loss. Why would you want to lose your money? But if you would have held on, now look, it's actually higher than it was before you bought, before that dip in April. So the point is, keep a hold of these things for a long period of time. Investing is a long-term game, not a short-term game. But within Moomoo, I can go to 5, I can go to max. Look at all this stuff. You can do it hourly, yearly, quarterly, whatever you want to do. Here's the maximum. And what's really cool about this is I can go all the way back here. There we are on May 21st, 2012. Here we are in April. Here we are in March of 2012. Going all the way through the entire stock chart of ETF VOO. So that's a really cool thing to do. You can look at the volume down here below. Another thing I like to do from a beginner's perspective is I like to look at the news. And if you click on this right over here, here's the news of what's happening that could potentially positively or negatively impact this ETF. So you can look through all of that, and that just helps you decide, do I want to buy it now? Do I want to buy it later? I need to sell some? Whatever that may be. There's also comments. I do warn you to be careful about the comments because people like to just kind of speculate and be a little bit goofy in the comments section of all these different funds, especially if you look at something like a Tesla or AMD or one of the hot stocks. It can get a little bit weird. Don't take your financial advice from the comments section. By all means, do not do it. The last thing I want to show you here on this particular screen is the fund. You can look at the fund and it breaks down all of the great data. And this is provided to you at no cost. And what's really cool is what I've noticed with Moomoo is as I continue to invest, as I continue to increase my overall account balance, they give me additional NASDAQ research tools, different levels that I would have had to pay a significant amount of money to any other brokerage in order to access that level of data. You get all that stuff for free simply by using Moomoo. Now, what's nice about that is as you start as a beginner, when you start scaling up and you start learning and you start becoming a more informed, more intelligent investor, man, that data is going to come in so handy for you. And that's what's nice about Moomoo is you don't have to then say, well, I guess now I got to spend this money in order to check this out. It's all inclusive. Moomoo grows with you in your particular journey through investments. But as we go through here, you can look at the breakdown, the profitability, the holdings of the ETF. ETFs hold multiple different companies. So you can see 7% is in NVIDIA, and then Microsoft, Apple, Amazon. This is the S&P 500, right? You can look at the dividends. What kind of dividends do they pay? And right now it looks like the last dividend was paid on September 29th at $1.74 per share that you owned. Not bad. It does the same thing with individual stocks. If I click on AMD, I can look at the news, I can look at the company, I can look at all the different things such as analyst rating. Are they saying to buy it, hold it, sell it? What's the valuation of the company? I can go through and look at the dividends. I mean, you name it, you have access to it. Of course, you'll see right now AMD does not pay a dividend because it's not a dividend paying stock, but that's all good. You can also look at the ETFs. Now, we talked about transferring money in, buying, selling. What about once you hit that T+2 and you have cash in your cash account, how do you transfer money out of Moomoo? Well, that's easy, especially if you're sitting here on this particular account detail that I have up right now. All you got to do is click up here at the top where it says transfers. That's all you got to do. Transfers, and then you can withdraw. Now, right now, because I've gotten myself up into a purchasing buying power, I'm not going to be able to transfer anything out. But if I wanted to, I would just go ahead and hit on ACH transfer. And then what it's going to do is it's going to come from my account in Moomoo to my checking account. And I can decide to withdraw as much money as I want as long as it's in the available amount. So that's an important thing to keep in mind, is that once you sell, let's say I would sell that entire AMD, it's worth $700. Once it processes through, right there where it says available amount, it'll say $700. If I wanted to, I could take that entire cash amount out, do $700 and hit submit. And then it usually takes only about a day or two, and it depends on your bank. If your bank is slow, it's going to take a while, but my bank is fast. Moomoo is fast, so I usually get it within the next business day or two at the absolute latest, which is great because, boom, right there, I get it in my account when I need it, don't have to wait around. Now, there are other things, such as a desktop app that you can use on your computer. There are things like buying IPOs, buying crypto, buying options, all that kind of stuff that goes into a little bit more the intermediate or advanced level of Moomoo. If you're interested in learning more about that and you would like me to come back with a video on those advanced strategies, here's what I need you to do. Comment below with what you're looking for. And based on what you're looking for, I'll come back and do a video based on that particular topic. But I hope today's video was helpful. Make sure you get started by using the link in the description below. Check out this video next, and we'll see you on the next video.